On the morning of May 18, 1980, Mount St Helens erupted in glorious fashion, causing a chain reaction of destruction and chaos, altering the Washington landscape forever and offering us a rare glimpse into nature's true power.
Most violent eruption in 123 years. Now, 10.5 hours later, the mountain is still shooting steam and ash. Taking with it roads, bridges, logging gear. At least 5 people have been killed. Hundreds of others are trapped in the aftermath.
At 8:32 a.m. on a beautiful Sunday morning, a 5.1 magnitude earthquake awakens Mount St. Helens, causing a 24 megaton eruption, 500 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945. In the end, the mountain claimed the lives of 57 people, 3 of which we will discuss later in the video, including the incredible survival story of a young couple. Within seconds, 373 square miles of forest is flattened. 1,300 feet of the mountain blows off, reducing the height of Mount St. Helens to 8,366 feet from 9,600. And a mixture of superhot gas, rock, and ash shoot laterally at 300 miles an hour, burying everything in its path. In late March, just a little under 2 months before the eruption, steam emerges near the peak of the volcano, followed by a series of small earthquakes, signaling the movement of magma and pressure releases from inside the mountain. These sudden events pique the interest of tourists and geologists from around the world, including 30-year-old volcanologist David A Johnston, a recent University of Washington PhD grad, and his colleague Don Swanson, with the hopes of documenting the volcano. Shortly after, due to a blockage, the volcano grew a bulge on the north slope of the mountain that grew at a rate of 5 to 6 feet per day horizontally, which in geological terms is extremely fast. David Johnston noted the swelling and urged Washington Governor Dixie Lee Ray to evacuate the area and establish a safety perimeter known as the Red Zone, spanning 3 to 8 miles around the summit, a zone that became strictly off limits to everyone, including himself. However, some of the people that lived on the mountain refused to evacuate, most notably 84-year-old Harry R. Truman, owner of the Truman Lodge that he and his wife had been operating since the 1930s. The lodge was 4 miles from the summit, on the banks of Spirit Lake, a once popular tourist attraction for water sports and camping. Unfortunately, Truman's wife Edna passed away after running the lodge with him for over 50 years, leaving Truman all alone with their 16 cats. With Edna no longer around, Harry made peace with the volcano, saying, "If she goes, I'm going with her. I have nothing else to live for." After several weeks of minimal activity, people grew anxious, and on May 18, the governor allowed some angry residents to go back into their properties after signing an agreement acknowledging the dangers of their decision. That same night, Don Swanson, David Johnston's colleague, leaves his position in their observatory post Coldwater 2, just 5 miles from the mountain, to celebrate his anniversary with his wife. The following morning, May 18, at 8:32 a.m., the mountain erupts, sending the north face of the mountain laterally in the direction of Spirit Lake and Coldwater 2, at 350 miles per hour. The eruption caused an unprecedented amount of superhot ash, rock, and gas called pyroclastic flow. While it looks like just a large plume of smoke, in reality, it's gas that is about 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine the last time you baked cookies, setting the oven to 350 degrees for 15 minutes. The sheer heat when you open the oven door is no match for the heat produced by a volcano. And as a reference, 1,500 degrees is hot enough to take someone out upon contact, frying someone's pain receptors almost instantly. Harry Truman would have had approximately 3 seconds to react from the time he heard the explosion. He was disintegrated instantly, taking less than a second to pass away in a painless manner. Truman and his 16 cats were no more. 5 miles away in Coldwater 2, David Johnston picks up his radio to alert the Vancouver station. Vancouver, this is it," before the radio cuts off, making that the last thing he will ever say. At the distance he was at, he would have been pulverized in seconds. 2 miles away from Coldwater 2, volunteer Jerry Martin alerts, "The kid at Coldwater 2 is gone. I'm gonna back out of here." He jumped in his pickup truck and was never seen again. Today, Johnston and his crew are credited with saving the lives of hundreds of people, and Coldwater 2 has become a memorial in their honor. It is estimated that whatever is left of the Truman Lodge is now buried under 150 feet of ash, rock, and water. That due to the extreme heat of the eruption, the ice cap that once decorated the peak of Mount St Helens melted, sending approximately 65 billion gallons of water into Spirit Lake and the Toutle River, bringing homes, cabins, animals, and thousands of trees with it downstream, making it the largest mudslide ever recorded on Earth. High school sweethearts Venus and Rold took to the mountain to camp near the Toutle River for the weekend. They had an amazing night the night before, and at 8:32 a.m., they were rudely awakened by a massive explosion. By the time they got out of their tent and looked at the mountain, they were met with an 800-foot wave of water rushing toward them. They jumped in their station wagon to try to make an exit, but failed. Their car was swept up by the mudslide almost instantly. In an effort to not drown inside the car, they jumped out of the car windows and were swept away from each other, crashing into trees, rocks, and being crushed by 6 to 15-foot diameter logs. Venus was stuck, with one arm pinned between 2 large trees, while her other arm was already skinned down to the muscle. Miraculously, she was able to free herself and reached out for help while being sucked underneath the roaring currents. Rold, by the grace of God, saw her hand and pulled her, carried her through thick forest and debris, climbing over logs and swimming to shore to find the nearest bridge, where they would later be rescued by a helicopter and sent to the nearby hospital to have ash and rock scraped out of their wounds, without anesthetics. Venus passed out 4 times during the operation, but she and her boyfriend at the time both survived. And 44 years after the eruption, the mountain was forever scarred with a massive crater on its north face, and the local environment is left with a reminder of nature's true power. The mountain to this day reminds us of the worst landslide ever recorded, and the Truman Lodge is no longer part of the view. This eruption, like never before seen on US soil, provided scientists with valuable data and insights on how massive volcanoes erupt and how ecosystems recover over 44 years. Today, the landscape is still recovering, but those scars and stories will linger forever. If you enjoyed this video and would like to share your personal or family experience with Mount St. Helens, please write your stories in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, and if you're new here, please subscribe. Shout out to Edmund for commenting on the last video. If you would like to be featured on the next one, just leave a like and comment, and I might pick yours. Until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.